Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and I am with Chris Smith. What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, you were awesome. The call you did last year around lead gen, Facebook lead gen, was off the handle.
Thank you.
The call this year around conversion is one of the most talked about calls in our community.
hmm
And one of the biggest challenges our users have that we just can't totally help them with this. We help them convert once they're talking to a prospect. But if they can't get someone on the phone, we can't help them. So walk us through some of the strategies from the last interview and anything and everything that a mortgage professional can do to get a lead on the phone and to get a realtor on the phone.
Yeah, I think it's not that different. People are busy and people ignore calls when they don't recognize them, and people don't like getting calls from salespeople. So that stuff will probably never change. The most important thing to remember, sort of philosophically, Dave, is what I call BBF, behavior-based follow-up. And what most follow-up is built on is time. So I meet a realtor at Starbucks, we exchange cards, I put her in my database, and it reminds me to call her 6 months later. That typically is how lead response has been done. If you get a new lead from Zillow and you're a realtor, or you get a new lead from Bankrate or LendingTree, you got a new lead, so you follow up with it right now, and you're doing that based on time. You're doing it because new leads are what you think are the best, and sometimes they are. But when you shift your mindset and you say, you know what, I'm going to call all my new leads when they're new, of course, but for my older leads, I'm going to call them if they open an email. I'm going to call them if they click on a link in an email, or I'm going to call them if they visit my website. Meaning your calls should be focused on the people who have looked at something you sent them within 24 hours of making that call. The easiest version of this, Dave, is just a big mass email. If you're going to send a mass email to all your realtors on a Tuesday, the difference is you got to make your calls on Wednesday. It has to be a dance. It's not just the email. The whole point of the email for us is to better identify who we should call. So as an example, if I've got 1,000 realtors in my database and I'm in mortgage and I send an email that says, tired of your lender. Like, Dave, wouldn't you recommend that I call all the realtors that opened that if I'm a mortgage guy? Not just the ones that opened it and clicked and responded? So you've got to start thinking of your subject lines as the way that you get people to raise their hand. If I send an email today that says, want to save $500 on Curator, my team is calling every person that opens it. And what happens is when you actually focus your calls and your follow-up and your text on people who behaved a certain way recently, it gets a lot easier to crack the conversion code.
So Mortgage Coach community, takeaway number one, and Chris, you may or may not remember this, but when we send a total cost analysis and the family clicks on it, the loan officer gets an alert. They get
That's it.
an in-app alert, they get a text alert, they get an email. So think about that, folks. Are you calling when someone's looking at your total cost analysis? Are you calling them? Right call at the right time. So that's the strategy. Right call, right time.
Yeah, what we say is you want to focus on the people who matter the most at the moment that matters the most. So sometimes people aren't in that buying mindset. They're not in that shopping mode. But man, when they're on your website, they kind of are. If they just read your monthly cost analysis or they read the Mortgage Coach report that was sent, they are. So yeah, it's simple. It's just turning the corner. The entire purpose of Mortgage Coach is to help you figure out who to call and who to talk to. That's it.
Yeah. So by the way, everybody, send a success story to all your agents, and the agents that click on it, call them pronto. So now let's talk about the other thing, because you talked about something, I think it was called a burst. One, if you could define that and how to use that strategy, because I think that's something that not enough salespeople do in today's market.
Yeah, no problem. It's actually, I believe Salesforce invented the term because, they obviously have the most data around businesses and leads and follow-up. And so the concept is simple. I like to use the military example. If you're going to go to war, you better attack from land, sea, and air. That's why the U.S. military is so strong, because we have good Army and Navy and Air Force, right? Well, it's no different when you're trying to follow up with leads. Think of email, phone, and text as the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. When you attack from all sides, you have your highest chance at winning. And so what you really want to do, like when a lead comes in, here's the beauty of technology, Dave, is the email can be automated that goes out, and so can the text message. So all you really have to do is put yourself in a position to call quickly, because if you call quickly, you are doing all three. Now, if you don't have systems and technology, that's okay. Just do it manually. The next time you get a lead, text them, hey, I just got your information. I'm going to call you in a minute. And then I bet the answer. Or you text them and say, hey, I just sent you an email. Did you get it? See what I'm saying? You're using these things as a team, not as silos.
Love that. So Mortgage Coach members, this concept of phone call, email, text, and also it's just making it easier on the prospect to respond to you. Think of those messages. They may not want to call you back. By the way, they probably don't want to call you back. They prefer to text you, email you. So think of it not only as good selling, think of it as good servicing. You're making it easy for the prospect to respond in the channel that they want to respond in. So one last question. Let's wrap up this quick hit. Let's say I get a new lead, a new referral. I text them, email, and call them all within a day, within 3 days. How many times should I try before I just figure, you know what, they've moved on and I should just quit pounding my head against the wall? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sometimes it's the source. If it's a referral lead, you probably should never give up. If it's a lending tree lead, right, a few days later, you might want to give up. But what we've looked at is the data. And the data tells us that 6 calls is the optimal number of calls. Basically, if you don't call 6 times, you end up not reaching as many people as you could. And if you call more than 6 times, you get arrested. Or, you start to get into that decreasing your conversion. So what we do is on the first day, we call right away. If they don't answer, we call again. And then if they don't answer that, we leave a voicemail, send a text, and then we call again 10 minutes later. So we do 3 calls in the first 10 minutes. Then we do 2 more calls on day 2 and 1 more call on day 3. So we really front load it. There was a gentleman, he does still work for Keller Williams. His name's Ben Kinney. Yeah, Ben. And he calls it 10 days of pain. He talks about it like the honeymoon, right? Like you're not going to do it every day forever, but man, on that honeymoon, right? That first week is awesome. So think about it with a lead. You definitely don't have to follow up forever, or at least you don't have to follow up one-on-one forever, right? If people don't, respond to the one-on-one stuff, you can move them to the mass nurture. You can move them to the mass email. But those first 10 days, they've got to buy or die. You've got to go from all angles as fast and as often as you can.
I love it. So as we wrap this up, think about it, folks. It's, when you get it, it's a lead. It's a lead or a referral. I think it's pretty common language. If it's from an agent or a trusted source, that's a referral. If it's from a cold source, it's a lead. But let's not forget, everybody, that lead or that referral becomes a family. It becomes a human being that has goals and dreams. And you need to speed up, race to be there. But then when you get there, you need to slow down and remember that, I got a family. I got to ask them great questions. I have to listen to their goals and dreams. And then I need to present strategies that help them achieve their goals and dreams. Anything you want to add to that as we wrap up today's quick hit for the Mortgage Coach community?
Yeah, it's all about conversations is what you're mentioning. The last tip I would give would be that the best time of day to get people on the phone is 8 to 10 a.m. or 4 to 6 p.m. So if your goal is phone contact, it's actually the easiest before they get busy or before they get home. But we actually just did some new research. If your goal is to get your emails opened and replied to, 11 a.m. is the best time for email response. So make your calls at the beginning and the end of your day. Send your emails in the middle.
Chris, this has been amazing. You knocked it out of the park. All kinds of great takeaways. So everybody on this call, if you liked this call, like it. You're watching this in our YouTube channel, give us a like, let us know it was valuable. But share this. If you're a manager, share this with your team. If you're an individual loan officer, share this with your mortgage friends that you actually want them to help be more successful. But help us get the word out. There's a lot of value here. So Chris, what's the best way for our community to connect with you if they want to learn more about your book, learn more about you?
Sure. The best place to go is curaytor.com, curaytor.com. They can also connect with me on Facebook. If they just search Curator Chris, they can find me there.
I love it, man. Hey, thank you for all the value. Can't wait to bring you back into our Tuesday interview and do another call. And by the way, folks, if you have more questions for Chris, put them in comments below. Post them on our Facebook page. Chris is going to be part of the community, and we're going to do more of this. Hey, take care, brother.
Sounds good.
All right.